Well, hello everybody, welcome to my next moto vlog. This time I'm going to still do District 7, but I'm going to go to a different area of District 7. I'm starting right next to the Harley Davidson dealership. If you guys remember from my last video, I went the other direction towards Phu My Hung, but this time I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to show you a different part of District 7. It's actually an area which I lived 2 times. I rented 2 different rooms in this area. One was actually considered an apartment or a loft. Another one I rented a room from a very kind Vietnamese family. They gave me a very fair price during COVID, so I really appreciate them. That was a few years ago. So I did my live stream last night, and I told you guys I would do a moto vlog after one of my commenters said he really liked them, and you know what? I enjoy doing them. I usually have a lot to say, a lot to ramble on about, so welcome to my next rambling moto vlog. So coming into this area of District 7 is a lot different than Phu My Hung. It's not as upscale. It's more of a, it's more of an authentic Vietnamese kind of area. There are a lot of expats that do live in this area if you want to be close to District 1, but you want a just slightly cheaper rent, and I do mean just slightly cheaper, and you save $1 million or $2. You can come out here and rent a room. You can rent a room for about the same price actually as District 1, but you're going to get something way nicer, almost double or triple the quality. But the prices are going to be about the same, maybe $1 million less. I actually lived in this area. One of the first spots I'm going to take you guys to is where I used to live as an apartment. It was a loft on the 4th floor, but it was a little higher than the 4th floor because each apartment was like a floor and a half because they were 2-story lofts. It wasn't like a full 2 floors because the ceilings were a little lower. But I stayed there for 6 months, I think, 6 months lease, and I paid $8 million, if I'm remembering correctly. And of course, you had to pay your own electricity. Wi-Fi was included, so the internet was free. You had to pay your water. There was no management fee, so with electricity, and it was a smaller place. So, like for example, right now I have 3 ACs in a bigger apartment. This place, 1 AC in a small loft. So I think electricity cost is probably about $1 million. Did I miss the turn? Actually, I did miss the turn. So in order to take you guys there, I'm gonna have to U-turn. All right, guys, I'm back. All I did was flip a U-turn there. I just want you guys to see the boring part of traffic. I'm gonna go back and show you guys that apartment that I lived at. But anyhow, the live stream last night was very good. It's my first ever live stream, and I was a little nervous because I didn't know how to operate the phone. I haven't had a phone for 4 or 5 months. It's quite a while. And I actually bought a phone that I really could not afford, but I've invested a lot of money into my YouTube channel, and I knew having a nice phone that I could live stream on with good quality. I noticed you guys did compliment the quality of the live stream. One interesting thing to note is when I used to live here, we used to turn down right here. I don't know if you can see. And we would drive all the way to this little alleyway right here against traffic. And it's very common to do. You'll see people do it all the time, such as this Grab driver up ahead. But one time I got pulled over, and I didn't feel like I had done anything wrong because everybody was doing it, and I was a little argumentative with the police, and they took my bike. And it cost about $3 million to get it back, and it took a couple weeks. So that's one recommendation here in Ho Chi Minh City is do not argue with the police. If you feel like they are in the wrong and you're not in the wrong, it doesn't matter. Don't argue with them. Apologize. Assure them that you'll never do it again. Feign ignorance if that's what you have to do. But never argue with them, never get hostile. It's just like America. You roll down your window and be like, what do you want? They're gonna get very hostile back at you. So it's pretty common advice. So once they pulled me over right here, I had to start going this way to get to this apartment. And it kind of added a few minutes. As you're witnessing right now to the journey. Anyways, live stream went really great last night. Concurrent viewers were 33, and that was quite more than I expected. Honestly, I only expected maybe 5, if even that. I kind of expected to sit there and talk to the camera, or talk to myself, or wait for someone to come in. So thank you very much to everyone that showed up, and thank you very much to everyone that's watched the video afterwards. I know it's long, it's 2 hours, it's a lot of rambling, but I appreciate you guys watching that. And that kind of brings me up to my next subject, is I started a Patreon page, and on the Patreon, as a benefit, I wanted to provide access. This guy doesn't know how to turn sharply. He ran right over my toe. One of the benefits of the Patreon is I wanted to provide access to my live streams because I intended to unlist them. But my live streams got so many views in such a short period, I don't know what to do now because I only have one Patreon, and for Patreon I charge $5 a month, and I would get more Google AdSense money than the $5 a month. So I'm really at a quandary of what I should do. Is this the turn? Yeah, this is the turn to my old apartment. So I'm at a quandary of what I should do, so I want some advice from you guys. You know, maybe I was thinking I could keep enlisted 2 or 3 at a time, and once I get to the 4th one, bump the next one off. For example, if I have 3 up and then I do my 4th live stream, the first one I'll disappear and make unlisted. I don't know if that's a good idea. If you guys want me to make it Patreon only, I'm willing to do that. But I know most of you aren't going to want that because who wants to pay money, right? I mean, of course you guys might want to see the live stream, even though, you know, it's just rambling. It's just me out drinking. And another thing I want to address, guys, is on those live streams, you're going to see a different aspect of me than I would show on an edited video because I'm out on the Saturday night, I'm hanging with the guys, I'm drinking some beers. So just be aware of that. There's going to be a lot of rambling. I'm not going to cut out anything stupid that I might say. I don't say stupid stuff all the time, but sometimes I do. So I'm not editing it out. And another word of warning for all my international viewers, my Vietnamese viewers, my Thai viewers, is there's no captions for them. To write captions for a 2-hour video like that would just absolutely be insane. It kind of makes me want to have an assistant here in Vietnam, somebody that can help me out, that's willing to take a very small amount of money because I don't make that much money from YouTube. Anyhow, this is TN Apartments. I used to live here. I used to live up on the 4th floor balcony. I don't know if you can see it. My GoPro's pulling me up there. Yeah, my cat fell off this apartment complex. He was out on the balcony and he jumped to this construction site. This building was being built right here. It's brand new now, but before it was just a construction site. And he jumped from the balcony to the scaffolding of the construction site, and then he tried to crawl down the wall right here. And he broke his momentum by crawling down the wall, but he hit that pot planter and it hit him right in the side and it killed him. It crushed his inside, and he laid right down there and died. The way I know that is because I checked the security cameras the next day and I was able to see it. It was a very sad day. I'll miss that cat, but he's the reason I got Blackie, because I couldn't go without a cat. I waited a few months and I just wanted to have a cat again, so I went out and got my little Blackie. Oh, and my cat Ginger, I actually found at that apartment complex too. He was eating from the dumpster. I went down there and I heard a howling, like a really whiny cat meow. I went and checked out in the dumpster and he was in there crying. He was skinny, his spinal and pelvis bones were sticking from his fur. So I felt bad for him. I went upstairs and got him some food, a big old handful of cat food. I put it down and I was on my way to go somewhere, so I left and I came back an hour or so later and he was meowing and following me, and I told myself, if this cat follows me to the elevator, I'm taking him home. And yeah, sure enough, he followed me to the elevator. I'm meowing. So I took him in, and that was when Blackie was just a kitten and Ginger was much bigger. And I think this is why Blackie got fat, because he saw Ginger as a threat for his food. So when I brought Ginger up there, you know, they didn't get along. A little hostile at first. You know, Ginger was more curious. Blackie was more like, oh, this is my territory. You shouldn't be here. So he started eating his food quickly. He didn't want to share it with the other cat. This is just my theory of why he's so fat. So now he's a big old tub of larb. But the end of the story to that is, I know you guys don't want to hear about my cats all day, is those two are best friends. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I post some cat pictures sometimes. I don't know if you guys are into that. I like cats. I like dogs too. If I lived in a more hospitable environment for dogs, I would definitely own a dog. But I live in an apartment complex and it's not a good place for a dog. If I had some property and a nice yard for them to run around, that would be great. And I would definitely get a dog. But for now, it's cats. I love cats. I love dogs. I love all animals. Just an animal kind of person. So anyways, what was I rambling about? So that was where I used to live. $8 million a month, I told you. And now we're gonna go into a different area of District 7. This part of District 7, I'm not gonna show you the other place because it's a private family's house. So I'm not gonna show you their house as opposed to showing you guys an actual apartment building. I'm not gonna show you the family's house that rented from me. But we'll go down this street. I believe this area of District 7 is called Tan Quy or Tan Quy. I will look it up when I get home and try to pronounce it better. Not for you guys, but at least for myself. But I come this way 3 or 4 times a week with my girlfriend. We come down here and get milk tea. Interesting story about the milk tea, and I'm not gonna drive that way just because I thought about it. This milk tea shop's been around for a long time, as it was there when I lived in this part of District 7 a few years ago. And they started really small, and they got bigger, and they expanded. They bought the building next door. They upgraded their facilities to look a lot more modern. And now this big corporation moved in right next door. So it was it's kind of a dog-eat-dog world here in Asia. If they see a business doing well in a certain area, they'll put a business that's exactly the same right next to you. And I noticed that a lot in Cambodia when I went to Phnom Penh for 10 days. They had entire blocks dedicated to the same shop, just all different companies. They definitely don't like to spread out around here. If they see you doing well, then they're gonna park it right next to you because they think that that spot's a good spot to sell whatever product you're selling, and welcome to the competition. And it's the same way here in Saigon. There's a lot of places where you'll see an entire street that sell the exact same things. It'll be like all fabric, or all clothes, or all t-shirts, all electronic parts. So it'll be entire streets of motorbike repair for an entire block. And me as an American, it doesn't make sense to me, because it seems like you'd want to, spread stuff out. But that's how it is here, and I've gotten used to it. There's so many things I've gotten used to here that was such a culture shock before I got here. Now it's just completely normal to me. And I've only been here 3 years, so my life here in Asia is just beginning. But now I've been here so long, I don't think I could ever go home. I just like it here so much. I get a lot of comments or a lot of questions about people that like to smoke weed here, and it's usually people that are inquiring about being a teacher. And I don't really want to answer those questions, and the reason why is because I don't condone the use of substances like that if you're going to be a teacher. Now, I have nothing against people that like to smoke pot. However, it is illegal in Vietnam, so you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't break the law anyways. But I am from California, where it is legal, and it is not a society won't look down on you, is what I'm trying to say. But here in Vietnam, if you're going to be a teacher, in my opinion, you shouldn't do something that's going to make your job harder. You shouldn't do something that's going to hurt your job. And I don't mean hurt your job as in you're going to lose your job and get fired. I mean in a way that's going to make it so you can't perform your job. Being a teacher here is a very respected job, so if you're going to choose that line of work, you shouldn't smoke pot. You should be able to focus fully on your job. You should care about your job. Don't just be a teacher here just to make money. It's just my opinion. Everybody has different opinions. You shouldn't smoke weed like that, because it's gonna make it so you can't teach as good. I mean, honestly, weed makes you a little goofy, doesn't it? I mean, I've smoked weed before. I know what it does, and you can't be a teacher and smoke pot. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's just me. But here's that new place that moved in next door to the milk tea place. Look at, they're getting a lot more business. Mecha, and kind of feel bad for my local milk tea shop. I'm gonna hang a left here. So that's my opinion when it comes to that. I mean, you guys are free to do what you want. I know a lot of expat teachers here that do smoke pot, and I'm sure they handle their job just fine. But I know only from my personal experience, if I were to start doing something like that, it would affect my life. That's why I choose not to do it. When it comes to drinking in Vietnam is a big thing. It's part of the culture. So I don't encourage drinking every day. I mean, it's bad for your body. It's bad for your sleep. It's bad for your mentality, and it will kill you. But on Saturday nights, I like to go out drinking. So that was the focus of my live stream. I wanted to show you a little bit of the drinking culture. And as you guys saw, some Vietnamese folks were there too. Not counting my girlfriend, because of course my girlfriend's gonna be with me. But there was other Vietnamese folks here. The Vietnamese teachers that I know are also drinkers. So drinking here is very common. However, smoking weed, we'll call it weed. Smoking weed is not common here. You shouldn't do it. Also, if you're gonna come here and you're gonna have a job like that, don't go to places and suck down balloons. It's not right. You shouldn't be doing it. What if your students saw you? What if the rest of your coworkers saw you? You just don't come here and be an idiot. But if you're gonna come here and not be a teacher, feel free to come here and be an idiot. So it's all up to you. I'm just telling you how I choose to live my life. And you guys are welcome to disagree with me. In fact, I hope a lot of you guys do disagree with me, because a variance of opinions shows a healthy society. So that was my little loop through the Tân Quy area. As you see, it's just kind of a little suburb area. I'm gonna hang a right here and show you guys Lotte Mart. And then I'm gonna probably hang another right and show you guys another part. You guys got to watch out for buses here in Vietnam because they're little death torpedoes. They do not care who you are or what you're riding. If they're turning, you get out of their way. They're not going to avoid you. There's been many instances where I would hear a loud honking behind me, and if I hadn't moved, I would have got smashed. These buses just do not care. Just be aware. What's going on over here? The music. I've also had questions about driving legally in Vietnam. My advice on that is, I mean, a lot of people here drive illegally anyways, but my advice is to drive legally. If you're going to come to Vietnam, the best thing to do is to get a motorbike license in the country that you're from. And once you do that, you can get it converted here pretty easily. They give you a basic little test, and it's driving a figure eight. It's really simple to do. It's not very hard. And there's a lot of companies out there that'll help you as a foreigner get your driver's license. Oh, I said I was going to show you Lotte Mart, huh? Let me hang a left here and show you these quiet streets. And they'll help you for pretty cheap, anywhere from $1.5 million to $4 million. Just depends on who you go through. So this neighborhood is kind of like the quietness of Phu My Hung, but the buildings are a little older. Not as many, if any, Korean people, but the Candy City. I mean, these houses are really nice. Sorry if I just jerked my helmet right there. Sometimes I turn my head really fast, and I'm not trying to make you guys sick. This is one of my favorite areas. They got a lot of good food here. My next moto vlog, I'm going to take you guys to District 4, I think. Don't hold me to that because I changed. My next moto vlog will be 3 weeks from now, so I'll forget all about what I said here. So, but I like to show you guys a little bit of District 4. District 4 has amazing Vietnamese food. It's where I filmed the Cum Tam video, and everybody I talked to here, including on the live stream last night, if you guys didn't watch it, someone had a question about favorite Cum Tam places, and Andrew's opinion about Cum Tam, the restaurant he listed, was District 4 also. The Alley is a very good milk tea place, but it's kind of expensive. But you can get some really cool milk tea that has like ice cream and stuff on it. It's super delicious. But it's gonna run you $4 or so. So what we're approaching here is Lotte Mart. And when I lived in District 7, I would shop here a lot. I have taken you guys down this street before in one of my previous photo vlogs when I wasn't focusing District 7 at the time. So this time I will show you guys the Lotte Mart. It has a lot of Western, maybe not a lot actually, I guess I can't say that. It has a Pizza Hut, which is a Western food company chain. Phuc Long Coffee and Tea, which is an Asian chain, I'm sure. But Lotte Mart is a Korean-owned corporation. It's a grocery store, and it's also a shopping mall inside there. And it's where I used to go to shop before I moved out to Nha Be. When I moved out to Nha Be, it was a little bit more of a rural area, and now I go to Bac Qua Son for all my grocery shopping needs. It's got a Highlands coffee, which is really big. One of these days, I'm going to do a video on the coffee shop culture here in Vietnam. This is a lot different than the West. Here, people go to coffee shops to get away from their family, and the internet connections here are so good. Wi-Fi is everywhere, and the connections are super strong. So the young folks will come here and get on their laptops or on their mobile phones just to get away from the family and play their League of Legends or their Free Fire or whatever game it is they're playing, PUBG. So that wasn't a sponsorship for any video games, by the way. I mean, I don't play any of those games, I don't think. No, I don't play any of those. So, but yeah, that's what a lot of people play. I used to play a lot of Heroes of the Storm, which is one of my favorite MOBAs. It's by Blizzard, not sponsored too, by the way. But they have Singapore servers, and the lag was really good, but not many people play that here in Asia. So it's really easy to get into a quick match, but I didn't like playing quick matches. I like to play competitively, and it's absolutely impossible to get into a ranked game. I got a lot of questions about gaming last night in the live streams. And for Singapore, there's a lot of servers there for Singapore. They have an Arcade server when it comes to MMOs. They have a Elder Scrolls Online. They have a Path of Exile server, and the latency from here in Ho Chi Minh City to Singapore is always under 30 milliseconds. It can vary, but it's always under. I usually get about 22 to 24. I do use Exit Lag. This is not a sponsorship too. Man, you guys should sponsor me, Exit Lag. You guys hearing me? I do use Exit Lag, and it did cut about 5 to 6 milliseconds off my ping and did prevent a few, it prevented lag spikes. I used to get some lag spikes, and I started using Exit Lag with $6 a month, and I'm a subscriber for life. $6 to have a good internet connection. Definitely worth it. Let me stop here for a second since I'm driving on the sidewalk. I used to go to the dentist here all the time. Haven't been here for a long time. This dude's really nice. He's very personal. His offices are not up to date, but he's a very nice guy. Speaks great English. You guys ever wanted to get dental work? I'm not recommending him. I'm just saying. I used to go there a lot, and if you want good dental work at a good price, go to him. But there's dentists everywhere in Ho Chi Minh City, so everyone can make their own choice. But one thing I can say about going to the dentist here is stay away from District 1, because if you go to District 1, you're gonna get good service, of course, but you're gonna pay District 1 prices. If you go out of District 1 a little bit, you can get the same services for sometimes a quarter of the cost. I get my teeth cleaned for 200K in Yabea. For the same service, the District 1 is gonna run you 500K. So just be aware. The facilities will be nicer in District 1, of course. It's gonna be more modern, but they're catering to a more upscale crowd because it's expensive to live in District 1. So yeah, keep that in mind. I've done a couple of videos on dentistry too with my girlfriend and myself. But anywho, about the live stream last night, I made a horrible mistake. It's not devastating, but I learned from it. The mistake is I had scheduled a video to release the same time as I was going live, and now everybody didn't watch my owning cats in Vietnam video. That's okay. Learn from your mistakes. But back to that subject, just a reminder, if you haven't commented now on what I should do about my live stream videos, whether I should unlist them at some point, which I kind of think that's a good idea. Maybe allow a rolling 3 to be up there, and provide it to patrons only. The problem is I don't have enough patrons right now to justify that, and you guys are viewing the heck out of that video. I've gotten 500 views since I woke up on a 2-hour video. The average view duration is only 8 minutes, but still, that's a couple ad clicks, that's a couple pennies. Being a YouTube maker or a creator, I guess that's what we're called, is not as lucrative as you guys would think it is, or as I thought it was. I'm getting $2 a day right now from YouTube. One day I got $6. That was right when I released a video, so maybe I get $5 or $6 when I release a video. I'm sure it'll be more as I get more viewers. So yeah, please like, comment, share, and subscribe and help me get my viewership numbers up. Last night when I didn't have super chats on, it's because I didn't know how to turn them on. And to be frank with you guys, I have them turned on now, but to be frank, I'd rather you guys didn't super chat because YouTube is going to take 45% of that. If you guys want to donate money to me, you guys can use PayPal. PayPal takes about 15%. From what I've noticed, it might be less if you donate more. But I had three $5 or so donations last night, and PayPal took about 80 cents per donation. It's about that time in my moto vlog, ladies and gentlemen, where I'm going to pull over and check on my GoPro. It's been getting really hot lately. It's getting really old, and I need to replace it. But that is something for another day. So let me find a place to pull over, check the battery, check the heat, take a breather. Oh, the little doggy told me that he does not want me to pull over there. So let's turn down this little road here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stay on this road. This road's interesting. I'm gonna stay away from the dogs. I don't think they appreciate me. I'm white and I probably smell funny. All right, I'll be back in a sec, guys. All right, and we're back. Battery's at 44%, so I decided not to change the battery. I'm filming this at 4K, 60 frames per second, by the way, so it's a little bit of a battery drain. And I'm gonna have to buy a new hard drive soon. I got a 2 terabyte normal spinny SATA drive in my computer that I'm storing all my raw footage on, and it's filling quite up. My voice cracked there. I'm not going through puberty, guys. I'm a grown man. Excuse me. Maybe I'll cut that grunt out. Okay, I don't even remember what I was rambling about. A good 15 minutes has passed. I sat there for a while. I actually had to stop somewhere and buy some cigarettes. I know I smoke too much. You guys are always commenting about that, and I appreciate you guys having my health in mind. But I haven't actually smoked for very long. I smoked a lot when I was a teenager and then quit for quite a while. I got really into yoga and lifting weights, became a little bit of a semi-bodybuilder, health nut. I wasn't eating that many animal proteins. I would eat chicken and fish, a lot of soy, a lot of whey protein for after workouts. So I became a health nut for a little over a decade. It looks like I just found us a dead end. So this is a dead end. This is what happens a lot when you drive around Saigon with no aim. Hopefully this doesn't make too much of a challenge with my Google Maps. I like to do a little bit of a Google Maps overlay. So if this becomes a challenge to putting the map up, I'm just gonna give you guys a general vicinity, because I do kind of know where I'm at. When I first came to Saigon, I couldn't go anywhere at all, ever, without GPS. I had to GPS wherever I go, because it's such a big city. It's got a lot of windy streets. But now I'm at the point where I know the general vicinity of where I'm at. I just don't need GPS anymore. And I'm pretty good at memorizing routes. So even when I go out to my girlfriend's house, who lives 30 to 40 minutes away, depending on traffic, after 5 or so times, I had the route memorized. Maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. It's probably like 10 or so times. The thing with Google Maps is it accounts for traffic. So depending on the time of day, it'll give you a different route. And if you're going really far, that route can be a huge variance from what you got last time. But it started to give me one route preferred over other routes, and that's the route I memorized. So I take that route every time now. Despite the traffic, it's just easier that way. I hate having GPS talking in my ear. But oh, one little neat trick, now that I'm on the subject of GPS, is if you're gonna come here to Vietnam and use GPS, well, the first thing is, it's not legal to drive with earbuds in, so don't get caught doing that. My next tip is, if you want to learn a little bit of Vietnamese, is put your GPS to Vietnamese, and you will learn how to tell directions in Vietnamese. And right now, my giving and taking directions in Vietnamese is completely fluent, because I did that with my GPS. I didn't understand what the heck they were saying at first, but now I understand. And it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, that I have found myself another dead end. So let's check out this little dead end. It goes to this little stream here. Saigon is full of all these little waterways because it's in a delta. I think that's what the word is. So as it comes down out of the mountains, it branches 20 or 30 different times, and a lot of it goes right through Saigon. I hate to show you guys the trash and all this, but it is a reality. This is a big city. So in big cities like this, all across the world, trash gets piled up. It's just how it is. I wouldn't recommend going swimming. I know a lot of Vietnamese people do like to swim in the rivers here. However, I've had all my vaccinations against hepatitis and whatnot, but I don't want it. I know a lot of people throw a lot of nasty stuff in the water, and you get a lot of oil and fuel runoff from the boats. And included in that nasty stuff is feces and urine, and I just don't recommend swimming in it. But a lot of people do, and to each its own. You guys remember Seinfeld when Kramer was swimming in the river in New York, and he got this kind of a permanent funky smell to his skin. I imagine it would be pretty similar if you tried to swim in the Saigon River here. Yeah, so anyways, welcome to my rambling vlogs. Now, I am a little bit lost, but I'm not concerned about being lost, because as I said, I know the area, and I'm confident I can get out of here should I choose to. But I'm happy to show you guys what it's like to drive aimlessly and how you can get in dead ends. And when I first got here in Vietnam, back to the GPS, I had to go GPS everywhere because it was just too overwhelming. I come from a small town of 10 to 15,000 people. It's not where I grew up, but I did spend a majority of my life in a small town. And being in a big city like this was very overwhelming. I went this way last time and hit a dead end, didn't I? Boy, I'm just showing you guys in circles. Okay, so I'm just gonna go straight on out of here because I know which direction that goes. Actually, you know what? I always second guess myself and change my mind, don't I? I'm gonna hang a right here. So let's go down. So, Hai Mi Lam, excuse me. Which means so means number. So this is, the street's called number 25. Yeah, I think this will get me out of here. So this is the Tan Quy area of District 7, area I used to live. I recommend it if you want to get out of District 1, but a lot of people go to District 4 instead and be even closer to District 1. Though District 4 can be a little bit more pricey, especially if you're in one of the big high rises right by the river. And Thank you for everyone that came out to my live streams last night. Thank you to the guys who donated money. Every little bit of money is appreciated. Being a YouTube creator, so still feels funny to call myself that. Being a YouTube creator is not very lucrative, especially at my level. You don't get paid that much. I've invested, and I'm not exaggerating, I've invested thousands of dollars into my YouTube channel when it comes to equipment. So every little donation, it helps. I need to buy a new camera. I need to buy helmet-to-helmet comms. And all at the same time, I still need to pay rent. And I work for a living to pay my rent and my bills and my food and all that. So I will never use any YouTube donations to pay my bills. I don't need it. But I do need YouTube donations if I'm going to buy new equipment and experience new things. So any donation is appreciated, but not a mandatory. You guys can watch my channel for free. The more the merrier. I love all of you guys. Your guys' comments are fantastic. I feel like every comment I feel like I've made a new friend. A lot of you guys said you guys are going to come out here and see me, and that would be great. I would love to do a subscriber meetup, and Saturday night would be an ideal time for that. That's the only night a week in which I get out and I drink and I socialize. The other 6 nights and days and mornings a week, I stay in Nyabea. It's where I work, it's where I live, and it's where I sit and create these videos and talk to you guys through my comments and Discord. I haven't been playing much games lately. I've been far too busy. It was a 2-week battle, 3-week battle, 4-week battle with AdSense, trying to get my AdSense account connected. And I'm gonna make a video in the future that's completely unrelated to my channel, so it's gonna be off topic, on how to get your AdSense connected. I now know how to do it, and I had to watch a lot of videos in Hindi in order to learn, and I don't speak Hindi. So I had to watch many videos and just listen to the Hindi language and watch what they did on screen, and that's how I learned how to successfully connect my account. So I'm gonna make a video on how to do that in English soon. But I think it would be a pretty informative video to anybody that wants to come out here and be a travel vlogger, because it was a little difficult. So maybe that can help some of you guys. I know some of you guys that are members or are subscribers to my channel are also a travel vlogger. So you guys will run into that issue if you guys haven't ran into it already, so hopefully I can answer those questions. That's just me rambling on. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it out here. I appreciate all you guys. If you guys want to see more moto vlogs, you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. So my name is Gamer Abroad, and on my channel I share my life, my thoughts, my feelings as I live and work here in Vietnam. And if you like my content, consider subscribing, hit that thumbs up button. If you enjoyed my motor vlog, smash that dislike if you disliked my moto vlog, and please tell me why you disliked my moto vlog so I can fix it. Thank you everybody for watching and continuing to support me on my just starting YouTube journey. And as always, guys, you guys are awesome, and please stay that way. I share, that kind of threw me off a little bit.